I want to talk about a new product potentially. You've heard of single stock ETFs, everybody. How about two stock ETFs? We just had Michael Venuto from Title on. He's a white label provider, very well known in the business. He recently filed for 8 two stock ETFs that are pair trades. So they go long one stock and they short another. So here's some of them here, right here. One ETF, for example, goes long NVIDIA and it shorts Intel. Another one goes long Tesla and it shorts Ford. A third one goes long Amazon, it shorts Macy's. And you see here, one goes long Coinbase and shorts Wells Fargo, and there's 4 other ones. So essentially what goes on here is they imitate trades that are already being done by some traders. I mean, you know, Netflix versus Comcast is not exactly a new trade here. So is there a demand for these products?
I think there will be.
By the way, they've been filed. They have not started trading.
Yeah, if they get approved and when they come to market, I think there'll be demand for it. And look, I don't want to make a direct correlation to parlays or anything like that, but you see how people can look at the market differently and say it would just be easier if I could buy one product, do one trade, and put on this investment bet, if you will, that does what I want it to do. Long one stock, short another. I want to play the spread. These won't be complicated to support as market makers. The exchanges will be able to support these products, and the market maker participants should have no problem supporting them. But again, the work will be done. Can they raise assets like some of these, MicroStrategy products? Right. I suspect they will.
Well, people who are doing this now can do this fairly easily. You can go long one and short the other. What advantage does an ETF have? It's like the lazy man's long short here.
It's easier. Instead of having to short something yourself, the ETF is going to do that for you. And so there's a convenience factor that's out there. The same way that it's the single stock leverage ETFs, it's easier to be able to do with an ETF. Or if you want to buy the 30 stocks in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and have it just continue to do. ETFs just make it easier. They're much more mainstream. People understand more and more how they work. I think the ETF adoption is going to continue, even if we have some of these niche-oriented products sitting side by side with Vanguard 500 in a portfolio.
Yeah. So you were talking about new participants this year that are coming. Anybody sort of stick out to you?
I mean, some of the bigger ones, look, I mean, Eagle Asset, I think, was one that I mentioned. Rockefeller, they've been around for a long time. You mentioned
Rockefeller, of course, an asset management.
Yep, Calamos. I mean, these are big, legacy, generational managers that are, coming into the ETF market for the first time. I think it's exciting. I think we'll see a lot more. There's a lot of buzz in our industry around whether or not the share class version of ETFs gets approved sometime in the next, 12 to 18 months. If it does, I think we would expect another few thousand ETFs to come to market very quickly.
Right. For those of you who don't know, you're using clipped language here as always, but Vanguard was the only one that had essentially the same asset class in an ETF and a mutual fund, and it was tremendously beneficial to them.
Correct.
And many other people want to do that, but they had a monopoly on it, and now the SEC has to rule on whether they want to allow that.
Yeah, the patent they had expired, and so now once that patent expired, then others have filed. It's not an automatic approval. There's a lot to consider, but it's all being discussed, and I suspect that if it were to pass,
do you support having that go through?
I have no reason not to support it. I mean, I don't have a vested interest in it, but
I do. I mean, I think it's great for the industry. There's 34 different asset managers that right now have filed to do so. BlackRock and State Street were the latest ones to do so, but Dimensional Funds has helped to lead this charge. I think it's great for the industry if investors, the industry being investors as well, for investors to have the ETF option of a pre-existing mutual fund portfolio. That's great. The tax efficiency is so much better in an ETF vehicle.
It could save a lot of money.